Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. Second time today. Of course, it is Friday, but we have had the press conference at London Colney. Mikel Arteta speaking ahead of Sunday's huge game at the Emirates against Liverpool. So I thought I'd pop back on here, go over what Mikel had to say specifically about team news and injury news. That was a big talking point, of course, given what's going on at Arsenal, the uncertainty over so many players. So obviously this morning we spoke a lot about the game and what Mikel might have to do if Timber misses out. What do you do at fullback? All that sort of stuff. But this one's going to be a shorter episode today, just really going over what he's had to say at the press conference. Now, first, before we get on to what he had to say, Sky had their cameras down at London Colney today. They got 15 minutes before the press conference to film the start of the session. It's the same when we go down before European games. We get to see about 15 minutes, which is basically the players walking out, doing a little bit of a warm-up, doing a rondo, and then we get kicked out, and then the proper session starts. And so that's what Sky got to do today as their rights holders for their game on Sunday. They get the chance to do that. And in that 15-minute period, which isn't proper training, I have to point out, there was no Saka, there was no Timber, and of course there was no Calafiori. So that obviously isn't a great sign. But again, that wasn't the main part of training. Sometimes players don't come out initially to take part in that. Sometimes they're having more treatment done, and then they come out a little bit later on when the proper training starts. So we can't take that as a given that means they didn't train today. But certainly from what we saw on the Sky cameras, they weren't involved in that bit of the session. But again, this is Mikel Arteta. It's very cloak and dagger. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if he deliberately didn't have them involved in the bit when the cameras were filming anyway. And he did actually give some quite interesting thoughts on not leaking team news in the press conference today that we'll talk about in a little bit. So that was a bit from Sky before the press conference. Then at the press conference, Mikel was asked obviously about Saka, Calafiori and Timber. He said, we're going to do our very best to somehow have them available, but it's very uncertain. On Calafiori's injury, he said he needs some more tests. Yesterday, he had some. Today, he's going to have some more. And after that, we will know. Last time, we thought it was really bad, and he ended up playing 2 or 3 days after. So let's see how it is. Obviously, I think he's talking about the injury there that he picked up during the international break, wasn't it, when he hurt his calf playing for Italy. And then off whether Calafiori will make Sunday's game, he said, I said the last time it happened, but this time it might be different. I cannot see there's any way. I mean, this is very similar to the Odegaard situation before the North London derby, when Mikel was refusing to rule Odegaard out of the North London derby, even though we all knew he wasn't going to play, and he hasn't played since for about 2 months. I just can't see that there's any way that Calafiori is going to be involved in this game, no matter how rapidly quick he recovered from that last injury. This one was a proper serious injury, and if Mikel was saying that he needs to do some more tests today, he's just not going to be in contention to face Liverpool. But you never know with Saka and Timber. Obviously, when asked if Saka has done any training, he said yes, he has done a bit of training on the grass. How far we can get him to Sunday, that's a different question. We have another day, which is a good thing, but we'll see. On if Timber's trained, he said Timber, again, it's the first session that he could have some involvement. I presume by that he means today's is the first session that he could have some involvement. He's been out for a while. We expected him to be further back than when he is at the moment. But again, we have to wait and see. So not really giving anything away, which is understandable, really. But if Timber hasn't trained at all until maybe today, you've got to think he's just not going to feature against Liverpool. Again, you have to take everything Mikel says when it comes to injuries with a pinch of salt. He's not the most forthcoming or truthful, put it that way. He's not the most truthful at times when it comes to team news and injury updates, especially ahead of big games. But it's not really sounding too positive, it has to be said. And the fact that none of them were involved earlier on in that first bit of the session, that the Sky cameras were there, again, I think we're all probably going to be heading to the Emirates, aren't we, on Sunday, thinking they're not going to be involved. That doesn't mean they won't be, but I think that's probably what we're all going to be thinking as we make our way to the Emirates. So that's what he said about Saka, Calafiori and Timber at today's press conference. Moving on to some of his other comments, he was asked about Saliba. Of course, there's no Saliba following that red card that he picked up against Bournemouth last weekend. On how Arsenal are going to replace Saliba, he said, well, we have different options, players that have already played there before. It's true that partnership has been very stable. He's played every single moment. He's not available, though, this weekend. We have to find a different solution, which is something that, as a team, we need to be good at as well. Again, as I spoke about in this morning's show, Jurrien Timber would be so important. I'd feel so much more comfortable if he was fit and he could just slot into this team at centre back or even at right back, and Ben White could shift over to right back. I feel so much more comfortable with Jurrien Timber fit and available. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And as Mikel says, Arsenal are going to have to find different solutions to make do without some really key defenders. And William Saliba is so important to Arsenal. I saw a really good piece by Sam Dean in the Telegraph that went out yesterday talking about, or it was this morning, I think, actually, talking about the importance of Saliba to this Arsenal team and how much they miss him when he's not there, and his win record when he's been playing for Arsenal is better than I think anyone, certainly in the Premier League era. And in terms of average points per appearance, he's just that important to Arsenal. When he's not involved, they're a weaker team, no doubt about it. You could say the same for Odegaard, Saka, all those players. But it's going to be a blow because he has been such an ever-present force basically since coming back from that injury at the end of the season before last. And to not have him in there for this game is just a real hammer blow. It was such a costly red card, that one against Bournemouth last weekend. I thought this was quite interesting. This was Mikel talking about team news leaking. He was asked about the importance of sort of trying to stop it from leaking. And he said, especially for team news, yeah, that's something I understand. A lot of kids as well want to do their own teams and be managers in their positions. It's our job to protect that as much as possible because you don't want to give anything away, and that's normal. He's obviously talking about FPL there when he talks about kids who are wanting to do their teams and be managers. And it is a massive thing. FPL is so huge and it's changed the landscape of football so much, which is a mad thing to say. I mean, I remember back in the day, honestly, like it must be about 25 years ago now, when it first started. I remember doing it in the Daily Telegraph when I'm probably about 15, 16, when it first started coming out. To think what it has turned into now and how, football clubs are having a battle against leaks coming out because everyone wants to know who is going to be in the team before they do their teams at the cutoff point. And if so, they're trying to work it out just for FPL reasons. Then obviously it leaks out to the wider community, and then football clubs learns, opposition learns, and it's such a key thing as football clubs are really trying to battle against it, which is quite a mad thing, to be honest. He was laughing when he said it, but it's a really interesting sort of aspect of the game, and certainly an aspect of FPL. And if you've sort of been working hard to try and eradicate leaks from Arsenal, whether that be team news, transfer news, anything like that, he said it's a big part of our job. We have a lot of information, a lot of sensitive information, a lot of information that people want to have and to share, and it's our obligation and duty to maintain and protect the club and the team in the best way possible. And there's no doubt, I mean, people have asked me about it before, are Arsenal much do they limit leaks a lot more now than they used to? And it's 100%. I mean, the different when a team does very well, like Arsenal have done over the last couple of years, it becomes a much more compact club and everyone's together, and there's not really any leaks because people aren't unhappy. The time when leaks really start to come out of football club, when the football club is doing badly and players are being left out of the team and they're unhappy and they want to unsettle things and they want to get back in the team, or if they're annoyed that another player has been picked ahead of them, that's when the leaks start to emerge, either from players or from the agents to journalists. But when things are going well, like they have been at Arsenal for the last couple of years, those leaks tend to stay in. So, they just don't happen anywhere near as much anyway. And it's been very noticeable in the last few years how Arsenal has become much tighter ship when it comes to keeping news in-house. I thought those were really interesting comments from Mikel. Sort of looking ahead to Sunday, he was asked whether he knows his lineup yet for Sunday, to which he just said no, which I'm not surprised because I can't imagine he will. If there's any truth to what he's saying about not Calafiori, but certainly Timber and Saka, he will give them. And I was told this earlier on in the week as well, that this was the case, that they were just going to give them as long as possible to try and prove the fitness. The only issue with that is maybe not for Saka because it's not been that long since he played. But certainly for Jurrien Timber, if he's literally not even had a training session, I just don't see how you throw him into the game against Liverpool. I'd be very surprised if that were to happen. But Saka maybe slightly less because it's not been that long since played, and I can't imagine Saka would be very rusty if he was suddenly thrown in to the game on Sunday. So yeah, he says he doesn't know his lineup yet for Sunday, and that is, I'm not surprised because that will be a decision that will be taken right at the last minute after tomorrow's final session at London Colney before they go to the team hotel On what the next 48 hours are going to look like, he said it's a lot of drawing, a lot of possibilities, a lot of ifs, because the team we're probably going to start is not going to be the team that we finish the game. It happens every week. You have to prepare for the scenarios, what context the game throws at you, and how prepared we are after to make the changes that we need to do. Who is available to play 90 minutes, who is not, and that is always the case. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting 48 hours for Mikel and the coaching staff, trying to work out exactly what they're going to do, how they're going to try and stop this Liverpool team, who's going to be playing in what position. It's going to be a busy time at London Colney over the next 48 hours. I certainly, they're going to have to get it right, no doubt about it. He was asked, actually, Mikel, in the presser about Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, whether they're ready to start in the Premier League game, to which he said yes. And he said, look, we consider them first team players, so they are absolutely ready to start. If I'm going to start, if I start them, then I believe they're ready to start. And he says they will. I don't think either of those will start, I have to say. Miles, I suppose, is probably more likely than Ethan to start, just because of what's going on at left back at the moment. But I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go down a more experienced route to cover for the loss of Calafiori in that position. He talked a lot about Liverpool. He was quite warm about the job that Arne Slot's doing, not surprisingly, given the start to the season they've had. And he talks about how he talked a lot about how Liverpool's still been together 9 years now. And so because people asked, are you surprised that they've done so well under Slot in his first season? He said, no, they've been there 9 years. They're always competing. I consider them one of the best teams in the league. And he's right. Slot, what a wonderful position to walk into coming into that changing room with that quality of team, that attack, those attacking options. You've got a centre-back partnership of Konate and Van Dijk, you've got Robertson, Trent, you've got Alexander, McAllister. So you just got such fantastic options there. Done a brilliant job, no doubt about it, because there hasn't been any sort of drop-off since Klopp's departure. And that's what Arsenal are going to have to deal with on Sunday. They're going to have to find a way to stop this Liverpool team that are full of confidence, that are flying, that have started very, very well. And they're going to have to do it while missing a lot of key players. It's a big challenge, especially on the back of defeat against Bournemouth last weekend. But it's what they're going to have to do. Right, that's about it from this one today. Thank you very much for watching again. Second show of the day. I hope you're not bored of me just yet. I'll be back in the morning to do it all over again. Anything you want me to discuss in that show, you know what to do. Get down into the comments, leave your comments, your opinion. Anything you've heard from Arteta today that you've agreed with, disagreed with, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll pull some of them together and get them included in the show tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fantastic Friday night. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.